Hi, it's Roz, and here's
Tilly.
And we promised to start a series of looking at a play every month this year, and some of you out there gave us some really nice suggestions, which we haven't embarked on yet because this is Black History Month, and we thought we'd choose a play accordingly for February. Yeah. So what did we choose?
We chose Nine Night by Natasha Gordon, which is it has the acclaim of being the first play by a Black British woman to be performed in the West End. I think it was at the National Theatre, and then it moved along to the West End. I can't remember the exact theatre. And it was generally acclaimed and very, very successful, quite rightly, because it's excellent.
It's a good play.
And it's from 2018, so it's a very recent play.
So we're going from one extreme to the other, because our first play, which was we talked about on Tilly's shelf.
Yeah, this morning, in fact.
Although, we'll see.
They might not post it on the same day.
Was Aeschylus, so we were going right back to the start of Western theatre, and this one is bang up to date. It was actually first performed in 2018, so yeah. And what does Nine Night stand for? When I saw this play...
Before we plunge in,
yes,
I'm just going to say we decided between us today that we're going to use the hashtag discussing drama, because we're up to date connected people on the internet. We can invent a hashtag if we want to for all of the videos that we're going to make about these plays, because sometimes maybe there'll be two if we each make our own, or if we're together we'll do one on either of our channels. So if you wanted to find videos of the two of us talking about plays, you can search for it using the hashtag discussing drama. Or if you wanted to join us, and if you had read any of these plays, or we inspire you to read these plays, then please, read, comment, or make a video response, and you can use the hashtag too.
And do you know what? They can actually talk about different plays if they like.
Yes, they can.
Because it's just discussing drama.
Yeah, but that could become very extensive. But if you are inspired to read plays,
because people don't, apart from ShadeTube, you don't get a lot.
There's quite minimal plays.
Plays. Anyway, so Nine Night. So what does that title mean? Do you want to explain?
Okay. So Nine Night is based around a Jamaican tradition that was brought to the UK in the Windrush generation. This is all stuff I know from the play. It's not I've got any other knowledge.
You'd heard of the Windrush generation?
No, yes. I meant about Nine Night. I'd never heard of Nine Night before we started reading this play. And it is essentially a tradition of after somebody dies, where members of the family and social group come to their house every night for 9 nights, and the idea is that on the 9th night the spirit of the person who is deceased will then
gets to leave
the building.
So it's a bit like a wake,
but more extended,
but just it goes on for 9 nights. Wow.
And it's also
with rum and food.
It's more, has more of a celebratory feel.
And people do like little toasts and almost like libations. Does their person sprinkle rum on the floor?
So it's a brilliant exploration of that tradition. But the play itself is about. It's just about that period when somebody dies, where. A bunch of different generations and very different family relationships suddenly just have to come together and deal with the fact that there's not only traditional aspects to attend to, but also practical aspects.
And it's really striking also about the impact of caring for someone who's dying on family dynamics. And if you've been in that position, I think you kind of recognise that, and everyone, and it's all that thing of you did this and you didn't do that, and I was here every night changing the sheets, and you turn up and and deaths often don't bring out the best in families.
Yeah, definitely. And you get characters who care a lot but kind of run away from the situation, or characters who maybe don't care so much but intrude on the situation. And then you get a couple of people who are just bearing the brunt of the very difficult care.
So there's a kind of I suppose there's a universality about the story, and that I recognise things in it. But there's also it's set in a very distinct group, which is the sort of West Indian immigrant population in London, and then the second generation and third generation, and how they're moving away from their Jamaican roots.
Yeah, and well, that was one aspect that I found really, really interesting, because like I said, we start with the Windrush generation who came over in like the 50s or 60s, and then you've got, like you say, the second generation who is the daughter and the son of the woman who's passed away. But then you've got the third generation, which is like the millennial generation that was quite familiar to me in that, like, some of the questions that the youngest character had are ones that kind of travel around my peer group quite a lot, and like issues that people were kind of throwing at her. Oh, you know, you're still, your mum's supporting you, and you know, things like that. Like, it might not be true for me, but it is like this thing where
it's quite hard for people now to establish themselves. But it was even harder to establish yourself if you were one of the Windrush generation.
Yeah, exactly.
And you arrived to all this racism and unwelcome and had nothing, and you've been kind of like summoned almost to the mother country, and then you get here and everyone's more or less wanting you to get lost.
And some of that tension does emerge in different places.
Particularly with the daughter, that the woman who's died, Gloria, she left a daughter by a kind of previous partner behind in Jamaica, and that's a kind of the sort of tragic thread through the story of the impact of that choice, which is a choice
of the family being divided.
And I know that's a choice that a lot of people made, and they children were left for years being brought up by their grandparents, and then some of them were eventually brought across, and some not, and then the tension between the family that grew up here and the daughter that was left behind.
What I found interesting was the way that the youngest, the millennial character,
Anita.
Just keeping it all like broader and bigger, but Anita, how she was kind of in awe of the character Trudy, who was the daughter who was left behind, and kind of seemed to see her as being like more genuine and more like in touch with, like, she kind of seemed to see Trudy as like a way in which she could get in touch with her roots as a young black British woman who's like experimenting with natural hair and like all sorts of like in an almost like a political way of like, Trudy gave her a dress from Jamaica, and she got like really excited by like, oh, you know, this is like a genuine Jamaican dress.
Whereas she was quite irritated by her sort of the older relatives that were in London with her for being like really traditional and limiting, and then like Trudy arrives from Jamaica and it's like, oh,
I get it now. I get that this is what this celebration is so cool. So it was interesting, and you could see how her mum, Lorraine, who was the one who spent a lot of time caring for the Gloria who died, kind of was irritated in every direction by that, because she was irritated by Trudy kind of like swanning in and being the exciting aunt, and she was irritated by Anita not kind of getting
her experience.
Not appreciating that her feelings and her traditions were also genuine.
So one of the things that we haven't conveyed about this play is very funny.
It's hysterical. It's a real hoot.
It's kind of like the first 2/3 of it are really funny, and then it gets quite a darker or more dramatic sort of twist to it towards the end. But there is some really funny dialogue and funny relationships and funny behaviour, like Robert, who's the son of the Gloria who's died. He does that thing. He's a grown man, you know, with a wife and all of that, and he comes back to his mother's house, and it's like he reverts to age 6 as far as behaving like the spoiled boy age 6. And you see that a lot, don't you?
There's a lot of opportunity for humour when you've got like 3 generations with very different kind of perspectives and ideas all crammed into one room for 9 nights.
And we had a few days
prior to
while Gloria was dying as well. You particularly like the bus.
I was going to try and read it out, but I'm not, because the dialogue is all written in like it's written so that you can see that it would be read in a Jamaican British accent.
Strong accent, and you just like,
I would look really bad pretending it. So Maggie, who's like an older aunt who also came across in the Windrush generation, is talking about her bus pass being the only free thing that she's got from the thieving government.
Yes.
And
she's going to make the most of it.
Full use out of it before she dies. And she's like, Gloria got good use out of it before she died. She was on the number 41 bus. She was on the number 44 bus. She was on the number 236 bus. She got all over North London. And I'm just like, I just love the idea that North London seems like such a big place to somebody who's literally crossed the Atlantic Ocean. And Maggie is a great character for that as well, because every time somebody comes from somewhere, she's like, oh, they came all the way from Brixton. There wasn't enough food for them.
Yes.
So I really liked her as a character.
She was a great character. She was really entertaining. And the older man, Vince, was a brilliant character as well.
So lots of really good, really entertaining characters in this. There's also a character called Sophie, who is the white wife of Robert. So there's like a little dynamic in there of her, like she comes to the first night of the celebrations and somebody's like, oh, are you enjoying it? And she's like, but I wasn't expecting there to be so much music and things like that. But she is a good person. She's a nice woman. I liked how you could see that in many ways Lorraine related more to Sophie than she did to as like two women in their 40s than she did to like Robert and her daughter, and that they had almost more in common than the people that she was kind of supposed to have things in common with. Depending on
So I'd say all in all a really enjoyable, interesting play. There's kind of like little political kind of undercurrents,
it's not the main.
But it's not the main.
The main message of the play is really fun.
It's like, but also that families muck with your head, and bereavement mucks with your head. But maybe you can. There's a sort of coming together of
redemptiveness.
A redemptive quality.
I wanted to talk about drama, because
we are discussing drama.
And this morning with
Agamemnon.
Thank you. I was going to say the Orestia, but it wasn't the whole Orestia. We were talking about how most of the dramatic moments happened off stage, and I was just reflecting that it's similar in this.
It is.
So you get somebody dies, but they die off stage. Somebody falls over and does their back in off stage.
Someone nearly crashes their car. Off stage.
And I was thinking, if you had it if you were adapting it for film, say, or television, you would have to show that near car crash. You couldn't come in and have somebody say, oh, I'm shaking, we nearly crashed the car. But on stage, you kind of have to do that. It's like we were saying this morning, you couldn't believably have that scene.
And the whole having Gloria deathbed upstairs and all the action happening in the kitchen, it was actually really powerful.
Also then constantly also having Gloria on the wall, just thinking about having her upstairs and
and her pictures on the wall. She wasn't the Gloria's corpse was not on the wall. Okay, it was
for the clarification.
Gloria was on the wall, and people kept referencing
looking to it.
And there's the close of the play is the ninth night, and Gloria's spirit being allowed to leave the house,
and that's where you get some drama on stage more. Conflict. Conflict, I suppose, on stage. But it made me realise that it is a very effective dramatic technique to have things happening off stage. So maybe I should give Aeschylus a bit more credit,
a bit more of a free pass for that.
Anyway, so that's interesting. And in terms of stage direction, so this one was a lot more kind of detailed, and it's.
Are you complaining that the ancient Greeks didn't put enough stage directions in?
No, I wasn't comparing. I just thought if you're talking about reading plays, that's something that you might talk about, like how precise an author is and how precise a playwright is in the instructions that they give.
And you know what? The Natasha. Did we give her surname?
Natasha
Gordon. She was an actress, and this is her first play.
The first play that she's written.
So I can imagine that she was like putting a lot of stage directions in because she's an actor and she was sort of thinking of it as an actor as well. Yeah.
And she also put very clear instructions of like what the room was supposed to look like. So if you were setting it up, you would know like how to make a 1970s
looking
Jamaican kitchen.
Yeah,
basically.
Yeah, because obviously it's a contemporary play, but Gloria hadn't updated her kitchen since the 1970s. It's like going to your grandmother's house. Yeah. Good.
So
I think we should wind up.
You think? Yeah.
I do.
Okay.
Yeah, because
you like to keep your videos succinct. You don't ramble as much as I do.
Yeah, she rambles.
I know, I go on and on and on, and I don't say anything.
Yeah. So our next play will be in March. We haven't chosen it yet.
We're thinking of a mystery,
but we're thinking maybe something. Yeah. So join us if you like. Bye.